In the 1980s and early 1990s, a wave of fear swept across the US and beyond, as people became convinced that secret satanic cults were everywhere, kidnapping children, performing dark rituals, and even controlling society from the shadows. Even now in 2024, with access to a world of information at our fingertips, these rumors and beliefs aren't slowing down. Hell, we even give politicians a platform to spread that fear without evidence, and there's hardly any pushback. Ah, God, here we go. Sorry. Not gonna make it political. So, that's an example. But today, I'm gonna cover a bizarre satanic panic rumor that I remember hearing in the 90s, right as the internet was becoming more accessible to households in the US. And for this particular rumor, we actually have to go back to the 80s first. In 1982, leaflets began popping up all over the United States addressed to all Christians, declaring war on the 145-year-old company Procter Gamble. P&G is an American multinational consumer goods corporation that specializes in a wide range of personal health and hygiene products. You know, like Tide and Crest. According to the leaflets, a representative from Procter & Gamble had made an appearance on various talk shows, such as The Merv Griffin Show or The Phil Donahue Show, and announced their support for the Church of Satan. Okay?
We, the makers of Pampers that provide superior comfort to babies on the go, do hereby offer up this sacrifice of the unworthy paper towels of our competitors to our Dark Lord, for another successful quarterly profit of 13%.
Burn them! Burn them! Burn!
Whoa, it's getting all hot in here. Ooh. Oh my God, I am sweating so much.
That they have fun company picnics. Wouldn't you know it, that their deal with the devil didn't actually start in the 80s? No, friend. This blasphemous relationship has actually been in our face for nearly 50 years. I mean, you just have to look at their logo. Do you see it? Yeah, sure, P&G claims that that's just the man in the moon, and that those 13 stars are just representations of the 13 American colonies. Okay. But if you read the Bible, you'd know that Revelations chapter 12, verse 1 states,
"And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars."
And since the P&G logo has 13 stars, that means it's a mockery of the heavenly symbol. Therefore, it's satanic. Oh, also there's devil horns and an inverted 666 in the guy's beard. So explain that. Heathens. By June and July of 1982, the company had received over 15,000 phone calls and letters from people threatening to boycott the company or inquire about their support of Satan. Procter & Gamble went so far as to set up a separate toll-free number to handle all the calls they were receiving, as well as hire private investigative agencies to track down where these rumors started and hold those using their public platforms to spread these lies accountable. Even the Attorney General of South Dakota had issued a press release to the state media reminding them that no executives had sold their soul to Satan. I mean, what the f***? When religious leaders like the Reverend Billy Graham teamed up with P&G to help quash the rumors and lawsuits began rolling out to individuals, the rumors became less frequent. That is until the 90s. And we really like to repeat our past mistakes, don't we? We do. In 1993, public use of the internet had exploded, leading to the development of Mosaic web browser and discussion forums. Naturally, with the world becoming more connected, the cycle of misinformation began spreading again. The rumor mostly stayed the same, but had this sort of added flair to it that sounded like one of those chain emails that you got when the internet first started coming about. Yeah, how many people fell for those? Probably a lot. Still do, too. Still do. So, the claims stated, "Please make a difference. The president of Procter & Gamble appeared on the Phil Donahue Show on March 1st, 1994. He announced that due to the openness of our society, he was coming out of the closet. about his association with the Church of Satan. He stated that a large portion of his profits from Procter Gamble products goes to support this satanic church. When asked by Donahue if stating this on TV would hurt his business, he replied, "There are not enough Christians in the United States to make a difference." Now, hold on. Let me ask you something. If you were offered $1 million, if you could correctly name the president of a company like, let's say, Dillard's or, I don't know, Payless Shoe Source. I don't like the way that name rolls off the tongue, by the way. But do you think that you could do it? Probably not, right? In the 90s, there were probably like 2 corporate heads that were considered household names. I mean, you got Steve Jobs and Dave Thomas. Miss you, Dave. Oh, also, Wendy's, bring back this aesthetic, please. We live in a drab, ugly society. Having a covered patio with the rain dripping down and having a bright yellow box of French fries just would do wonders for my soul. Leave a comment below if you agree that Wendy's should bring back that aesthetic. What purpose would it serve for the president of Procter & Gamble to appear on a daytime talk show? I mean, what's the point? Most CEOs aren't even really that entertaining or appealing outside of maybe, I don't know, a congressional testimony on C-SPAN, which is boring.
Senator, I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
The exception to the rule, of course, being Bill Gates showing off his sweet vertical jump.
Is it true that you can leap over a chair from a standing position?
It depends on the size of the chair. I'll cheat a little bit.
Yes!
Imagine that guy's your boss, though.
Yes!
This rumor continued even further into the 90s with the CEO supposedly appearing on the Sally Jesse Raphael Donatello Ninja Turtle show in 1998. All of these claims of when this unnamed CEO appearing on various shows were quickly refuted, as it has been in years past. But I think that Sally Jesse April O'Neil Splinter said it best when she said, if we had this man on our show and he had said what it is alleged he had said, we would have scored a broadcasting scoop and would have trumpeted it to all the newspapers. It would have been to the show's advantage. But there was no scoop. There were no headlines. And Sally is right. It would have been advantageous for them if this happened on her show. But it didn't. So how exactly did this rumor persist from the 80s into the 90s? Well, you heard of Amway, right? The multi-level marketing company. Been around since 1959? Yeah, they're involved. Among many of the different products Amway sells, you will find cleaning products, personal care, and beauty products. Very similar to products under the Procter & Gamble umbrella. Now, during the 80s, Amway had experienced its first slump in sales as well as legal challenges. In fact, the Canadian government charged Amway with not paying millions of dollars in customs duties on goods imported from the United States. In 1983, after pleading guilty in the criminal case, Amway paid a $25 million fine in an out-of-court settlement. A separate civil case was continued by the Canadian government to collect duties it should have been paid all the way back to the 1970s. Amway, again, settled out of court, this time in 1989 for $45 million. 40% of the amount the Canadian government originally tried to collect. So here we have money problems and legal pressure mounting against Amway. As with a lot of multi-level marketing organizations, the church becomes a hotbed for new recruits, all with the goal of making the company and themselves more money and growing their business. Have you ever dealt with somebody that's involved in an MLM? Sure, you could order a case of laundry soap from them, likely at a higher price than you would find at the grocery store, but you'd be helping out a friend from church, and you'd be helping their business grow. Of course, it's much easier buying what you need from a grocery store, instead of relying on your friend to lug all this shit over in their Geo Metro. With Procter & Gamble being the largest distributor with billions of dollars in sales from their products and legal and financial troubles mounting against Amway, this was a perfect opportunity for Amway's devotees to spread false information against P&G. After all, the company had filed and settled 14 libel lawsuits against individuals it believes to have spread the rumor, including an Atlanta television weatherman, and in March of 1991, P&G won a $75,000 judgment against James and Linda K. Newton, two Amway distributors in Parsons, Kansas. The ruling prohibited the couple from spreading false statements associating the company with Satanism. Even as late as 2007, Procter Gamble won $19.25 million lawsuit against 4 former Amway distributors that was filed in 1995. It may have taken years for individuals that were responsible for spreading the misinformation to have any sort of consequences for their actions. And I'm sure that there are plenty of other people out there that have escaped unscathed. What's worrisome about looking back at this instance of satanic panic is seeing the potential for even more outlandish claims being made against people or companies in the present and in the future. I mean, we're already facing those challenges and we are comically unprepared for them. There is a saying that's ironically falsely contributed to Mark Twain that states, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes." It's not that hard to get caught up in misinformation, especially in the present day. When you're bombarded by a fire hose of falsehoods covering a variety of topics, it becomes a challenge to sift through the shit to find the truth. And in the case of Procter & Gamble, a false claim that started over 40 years ago, we witnessed a growing panic that started likely in the church. For many Christians, once a boycott of a brand starts, no matter how bizarre and outlandish, it spreads quickly. And if it's spoken from the pulpit, well, it becomes the word of God. And it becomes their duty to fight against evil. Now look, I'm not normally in the business of defending mega corporations, and there have been many who have practiced some shady shit over the years. But this rumor about Procter & Gamble and their ties to the Church of Satan are just simply not true. But I wonder how many people still believe that to this day. There's a lot more to this bizarre history of Procter & Gamble and the Church of Satan that I didn't cover in this video. But if you'd like to read a little bit more about it, there's a great article that I've linked in the description to this video from Atlas Obscura. I highly recommend reading it. There's some really funny and bizarre shit in that article. So please go check it out. That's going to do it for this episode of I Miss the 90s. If you know of any other weird and bizarre 90s rumors, please let me know in the comments below. I have a few that I would like to cover in the future, and I'd love to hear your input as well. So that's going to do it for this episode of I Miss the 90s. I'm your host, Mike O'Connor. Later.